Understanding decimals. Numbers are mind-blowing for a lot of reasons. One of those is because numbers are infinite. You might be thinking, what does that mean, infinite? Well, it's a fancy way of saying numbers can go on and on forever. If you started counting at 1 right now, you could count forever and ever and literally never be out of numbers. And numbers don't only get infinitely bigger, they can also get infinitely smaller. You can always cut a number in half and have something left. The amount just keeps becoming a smaller and smaller portion of the whole. Mind-blowing. Numbers like this one, the famous number referred to as pi, goes on forever and ever and has an infinite number of digits all to the right of the decimal point. So where else have you seen decimals? That little round dot in the middle of some numbers. And what does it mean? We see it at the gas pump, where it shows us the amount of money we are being charged for gas and the number of gallons we pump. We see it at the grocery store when looking at how much items cost. But what does the number mean, and how do we read them with decimals? First, let's review our number place values. Let's take this number, 4.50. The 4, a whole number, is in the first place to the left of the decimal. It's in the ones place. If we add another place, where we now see a 5, this is the tens place. It makes sense because 10 has 2 digits. So what place value is 3 digits to the left of the decimal? You've got it, the hundreds place. And these would go on and on forever, infinitely, as the numbers got bigger. Now let's make it a little more tricky, the numbers to the right of the decimal point. In the first spot, the tenths place, then the hundredths, then thousandths, and so on, again infinitely. So like we talked about earlier, the digits to the left of the decimal are called whole numbers, and the digits to the right are decimal numbers. If we have 7.50, we pronounce this 7 and 50 hundredths. But what are hundredths? Now we get to go back to one of our favorite topics, fractions. Fractions are a portion of a whole. Remember this graphic from our earlier video? It shows all sorts of pies broken into pieces. That's what a fraction is, something smaller than a whole. So 50 hundredths? Let's break it down together. 50 hundredths is the same as 50 out of 100. Well, 50 out of 100 is the same fraction as 5 out of 10. If we have a pie and we cut it into 100 pieces and we eat 50, that's the same fraction as cutting that same pie into 10 larger pieces and eating 5. We could also cut the pie into 2 big pieces and eat 1. So what fraction is this? That's right, it's 1/2. 50 hundredths is just another way to say 1/2. In fact, you can say 1/2 a lot of different ways. 50 cents is half of $1. So $2.50 is written 2.50, 2 and 50 hundredths. So now that you're experts, let's try to solve a puzzle called Which is Greater? We are going to try to decide which of these two numbers is greater, 4.8 or 4.65. Well, 4.8 is the same as 4.80. 80 hundredths, or 80 out of 100, is the same fraction as 8 out of 10, or 8 tenths. So now that we have them in the same place value, let's compare the two. Which is larger, 80 or 65? Yes, that's right. 80 100ths is larger than 65 hundredths. So 4.8 is larger than 4.65. Great job, math minds. I think you have mastered decimals.